Hello there, shortcuts. This is video 2 for Wednesday, February 7th. Price list will go out at 9 p.m. Sydney time if you'd like to be on that list. Shortcuts Records AUS at gmail.com. So we've had a pretty diverse list of soul and funk records. Now we're full on kind of new wave and classic rock. Plus, hang around at the end, and I've got something quite unusual to show you that is not typical, but there you go. I wasn't quite sure where to start, but I decided to go here. Never had this record before. This is Susie and the Banshees' 5th record, and it is called A Kiss in the Dream House. So I've been living with this record for about a week, played it quite a few times. I'm not a massive Susie and the Banshees fan, but I can recognize why some people are. Now, this record is quite a long way from the noisy, punky beginnings, the kind of almost birthday party-like sounds of early Susie and the Banshees. Famously, Robert Smith broke up The Cure, joined Susie and the Banshees, and made Hyena, which is a record I do have a lot of time for. And then, after the success of A Walk, reformed Cure, and the rest is history. But Susie continued on, and this record was loved at the time it was released. And I was thinking about why that is, because I've got a bit of an 80s theme for these first 4 records on the list. This is clearly a studio album. They're playing around with textures and sounds. In certain places, it sounds like it's a Kate Bush record. And you could say that about one of the others I'm about to talk to as well, where there's a clear focus on building and creating a sound that is in someone's head and has never been recreated in the studio before. I think that's partly why Kate Bush is so interesting. Songs like Cloud Busting and Running Up That Hill. But on A Kiss in the Dream House, you've got probably Obsession and the final track, Slow Dive, that really appealed to me. Slow Dive's quite a driving rhythm, but in there are strings and interesting production touches that do not exist on previous Susie and the Banshees records. This is the Japanese first press. It is in magnificent condition. Getting Susie and the Banshee records at anything less than $100 is practically impossible. This is the first time I've had an affordable Susie and the Banshees record, and it's in wonderful condition, and it's a really interesting record. These first 3 are all genuinely interesting listens. This is one of my favorites. This is Talking Heads Remain Light, their 4th record. I made a t-shirt of that. You may have seen me wear it. That wonderful upside down, in-betweeny, weirdy, kind of discombobulating text that they repeat on both sides. Look, of course, there are songs on this record that have stood the test of time. And many people think, and probably even me, that this is their best album. Born Under Punch's brilliant start. Cross-Eyed and Painless, I think, is their singular deep cut that for any other band would be their classic tune. but for Talking Heads is an album track. It's kind of unbelievable. Then opening track of side 2, Once in a Lifetime, an all-time classic. This is the record where their rhythm section really found itself and set the tone for what they were for the rest of the 80s. For a good stretch of 3, 4, maybe even 5 years, Talking Heads were the best band in the world. And that's maybe their best album. Make of that what you will. Talking about best albums, this record was Melody Maker's Album of the Year in 1982. This is the Japanese first press of Sulk by the Associates. Scottish band. I'm pretty sure this is their second record and last in many ways. After this record, they were a duet. This guy left and Mackenzie, I've forgotten his first name, continued on. If there's one record on this list that is divisive, it is this one. And a lot of it is to do with the sheer hysteria of the sound. It is florid and bountiful. There is no restraint on this record at any point. The instrumental that starts it is maybe the only place, but even then, there are things going on which are kind of mind-boggling. But when the vocals begin, that's when you really are tested, because they're dramatic, bombastic. Again, I think I hear some Kate Bush in places. Well, I'm hearing Kate Bush everywhere, so I'm not quite sure what to make of that, other than I think she's incredible. But it really is a spellbinding record. It works on headphones as much as it does on vinyl. I like the Japanese pressing because it does justice to how dramatic the noise is. So there you go. What a triplet to start with. The Associates, Sulk, Talking Heads, Remain in Light, and Dreamhouse, Susie and the Banshees. There may be a few of you out there who might put those three in your favourite records of the 80s. I'm not sure how many of you would put Queen, The Works, in their favourite record of the 80s. But I did a straw poll a few weeks back. I had this record on my list for the first time in, it's got to be 2 years. It's hard to find. And it went immediately, like first email. And I had at least 5 other inquiries after it. So I did a straw poll with some mates of mine, asking them, tell me about your favourite Queen record. And there are those who say, well, there are no great Queen records, but if you buy the greatest hits, it's amazing, which kind of works. And there's a few who like the kind of 70s bombast of A Day in the Races or Night at the Opera. But there were 2 who I really rate, who thought The Works was a brilliant record. I don't know, I can't hear it. I do think there are some incredible pop songs on here, Radio Gaga amongst them. But The Works, there you go. We're gonna leave the 80s well and truly behind now, and we're gonna go stomping back a few decades right into the 60s. I am not a massive Cream fan, but I am a fan of this record because of what the Japanese did to it, and because it's made me listen to it more than any other Cream record. And I think Cream Live is the best way to consume Cream. So, Cream, Wheels of Fire, Or is it Wheels? Yeah, Wheels of Fire. I thought it was Wheels on Fire for a second. Look at that gold lilt that covers the entire record. It is special. And this is the live side of, I think it was a double album in the rest of the world. Wheels of Fire had a studio record and a live record. This is the live record. Look at that gatefold. That is special. I think it's worth price of entry alone for the, however many minutes opener that is Spoonful. I don't know, I think 14 minutes. I think it pretty much takes up the entire side one. That song is everything you need to know about Cream. But that pressing is really special. Talking about a special pressing, I have not had this for a long time. Really going for silly money now. It is the 1974 pressing of Metal. Make sure I get it right. EMS 80322. This is the pressing that I have. This is the one that I listen to when I go to listen to Echoes. I love the insert. And for those of you who haven't seen this, the magazine is beautiful. But I love it, especially for this little message. Can you see that little text box right there? I'm going to read a little bit of it. Look at that gatefold. It says, Metal, Pink Floyd Harvest. Pink Floyd's, I spelled it wrong, is the kind of music that sort of creeps up on you, starting softly, slowly, innocently, until all at once you're enmeshed in the most sensuous kind of rock music. It's basically instrumental, and rightly so, as all four members are master musicians. Standouts, One of These Days, and all 23 and a half minutes of Echoes, both of which allow plenty of space for David Gilmour's superb guitar and Rick Wright's electronic organ. A real treat. I love that. It's as good a recommendation for Metal as you can get, including 23 minutes of Echoes. And Seamus. I really like that song. Seamus, the song, is underappreciated. This pressing, though, is stellar. Super quiet, incredible dynamics, really punchy too. Whoever mastered this for the Japanese absolutely smashed it. And I love how hard the gatefold is. It just exudes quality. All right, we have another 80s record here, Aerosmith's Permanent Vacation. I've had some people who got this record from previous lists and raved about it. And so I've added it back into the list and they've popped it in the box. And then finally, Lou Reed's fourth record, Japanese first press, Sally Can't Dance. This is the record that leads to Metal Machine Music, which I am informed, although they've been wrong before, but I hope they're not wrong. I am informed that Metal Machine Music will be in my next box. If that is true, that is pretty revelatory, because that is a seriously rare record. And Lou Reed's Sally Can't Dance is kind of the spiral down to what becomes Metal Machine Music. I told you that I got something special to finish on. This is unusual. I met someone today who was an ex-employee of Universal. And they had a whole stack of records just sitting there doing nothing. And I grabbed most of them. And these are all either 2003, 2009, or 2016 presses. These are all mint, unopened, mostly sealed, never played. He never had a record player. These were gifts from the record company. He worked for Universal. And so, these have never been played. Now, these are 2003 presses of Power Age and High Voltage. They're quite heavy vinyl. You can see the original, the kind of the rework. They're absolutely mint. Never played. I don't know. I'm just gonna put all of these up for $30 each. And this is really interesting. So he has the entire Judas Priest discography, all sealed. I'm gonna go through them. Point of Entry, sealed. Killing Machine, sealed. And you can see this is a double album. Judas Priest, The Metal Gods. This is Firepower, double album, sealed. Judas Priest, Battle Cry, double album of Live. And this one is numbered. Can you see that? 6128. 7128 of 7,500. We have Turbo 30 remastered, sealed. We have Stay in Class. Maybe they're great. Oh, actually, maybe this one is their best. Screaming for Vengeance, sealed. British Steel, sealed. Unleashed in the East, sealed. And which one's this? This is Sin After Sin, sealed. So all of those Judas Priest and all of those AC/DC will be $30. All right, that's everything in the rock list. A little bit different, a little bit unusual. You can see those Judas Priest are the We Are Vinyl represses. 180 gram. Okay, well, thank you so much for watching our new wave and rock list. Hope you enjoyed it. Something for you to investigate. Some really interesting records. The Associates, Susie and the Banshees, Sally Can't Dance, Lou Reed, the Japanese first press, and a bunch of represses from classic rock bands, AC/DC, and the mighty Judas Priest. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe, leave me a comment. Looking forward to chatting to some of you later in the week. And talk to you soon. Bye.